It's hard to be optimistic about Syracuse basketball in ACC play.
You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Locked On Syracuse. I'm Jackson Holzer, and thank you for making us your first listen of every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And folks, on this week's Poll Friday, I asked you guys the question, how many wins for Syracuse basketball in the ACC this season? And the results are in, and I'll let you know right now, they are not very encouraging, and you guys voted, of course. So you guys, and myself included, are not very optimistic about Syracuse for the rest of this season. The Orange are 0-2 in ACC play to start. They had a game at Notre Dame earlier in December. It was a close loss. It was a game that I think Syracuse should have won, but they blew it down the stretch. And then you had a semi-close loss against Wake Forest earlier this week at home. So they're 0-2. And by the way, Wake Forest, Notre Dame, those are two teams that right now are not projected to make the NCAA tournament. Take that for what it's worth. I believe that Syracuse will finish with a range of between 5 and 9 wins in the ACC. And I should make it clear that I am talking about just the regular season. So between 5 and 9 wins, which was actually the winner of this week's Poll Friday. There were 270 votes this week. And, well, 5 to 9 wins got 55% of the votes. 4 or less came in second place. And it was a clear second place. In third place, 10 to 14. And in last place, 15 plus wins. I think it's far more likely that the extreme of them being bad, 4 or less occurs, than 15 plus occurs. And this is just simple math. The Orange have already lost 2 conference games, and there's 20 games in total. So in order for them to hit that 15 plus, they would have to go 15-3 the rest of the season. That's not going to happen. But I don't think it will, but I could see the Orange going 4-13, 4-14, here on out. I could see that happening in conference play, but I believe they'll finish between 5 and 9 wins. At this point in the year, I think the quote-unquote goal should be to make the ACC tournament, which should not be a difficult goal to achieve. It should be achieved every single year, because now it's 15 of 18 teams that get selected for the conference tournament. And of course, it goes by the standings, right? What's their conference record? There's no bias whatsoever. There's no, let's look at their net ranking. Let's look at their KenPom. It's just win-loss record. So you got to be top 15 of 18. It should not be hard, but at this point in the year, that should just be the goal for this team, because I don't see them making the NCAA tournament in any other way except for sneaking in the conference tournament and just going on a miracle run, which has happened before. NC State last year, Georgetown one year, remember? That was the last time they made it as well. It does happen. I just don't see it happening with Syracuse. Looking at the latest net rankings, though, I understand that that's not how the conference standings work, but it does give you a good picture looking at the net. Syracuse is 157 in the country. That is awful. They're one of the worst power conference teams in the country. And it's not even debatable. You're 157 in the net. That is 4th worst in the ACC. They are ahead of these 3 teams. They are ahead of Miami, Virginia Tech, and Boston College. So if you're looking at the net and you're looking at how many teams make the conference tournament, Syracuse, at least by net rankings, would be the last team in the field. They would be 15th, which I guess makes it, but still not very good, obviously, So overall in this week's Poll Friday, I think they're going to finish with between 5 and 9 wins. I'm leaning more towards 5 to 6, but that's just my opinion. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And coming up after this, we are going to talk about what the Orange can do. Really, it should be what the Orange have to do in order to somewhat salvage a decent conference record. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's thrilling. Not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which players are going to score a touchdown, how many points each team is going to score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That's definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is the subscription tracker. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore, and I've already saved a ton. Plus, with their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon, rocketmoney.com/lockedon. How does Syracuse basketball salvage the year? What do the Orange have to do? Because we can talk on and on about the doom and gloom of this season. And don't get me wrong, I'm not very optimistic either. As you guys indicated on this week's Poll Friday, the majority of you guys believe that the Orange are going to go under 500 in the ACC. I think they're going to win between 5 and 9 games. Most of you guys agreed with me on that. Some of you guys think it's going to be 4 or less, which would just be even more catastrophic than 5 to 9 wins. So how do they figure it out? Well, let's get one thing clear. Adrian Autry, if you want him fired, I understand that. I want him let go as well. I am in that boat, for the record. You can clip this right now. He ain't getting fired mid-season. It's not happening. So you want a coaching change? That's cool. I also want a coaching change, but it's just not going to happen in the middle of the year. It's not feasible. And I believe that Autry is most to blame for this season. And I've documented it before on why. Because either A, he can't recruit talent, or B, he can't coach the talent that he has, or it's a little bit of both. But I digress. Because Adrian Autry, barring some crazy events, is not going to get fired mid-season. It's not going to happen. So if Syracuse wants any sort of chance of turning this year around and salvaging the year, it's going to come down to the players. And it's really going to come down to the shooting. Syracuse basketball, bottom line, they have to shoot the ball better. I understand that they are not really a shooting team. They are not a three-point shooting team. But they got to be better than what they're at. They are second worst in the ACC in three-point percentage. Less than 29% from deep. That's bad. Okay? Do you want to know who Syracuse's best three-point shooter is? First of all, the leader only shoots 33%. 33% is not terrible. It's not terrible. But if that's your leader, if that's your number one three-point shooter, no wonder why you're the second worst team in the ACC in three-point shooting. I'll give you the name. You ready? Donnie Freeman. Yeah. You can fact check me on it. Minimum 1 attempt per game, I should point out. Minimum 1 attempt per game. It's Donnie Freeman. Is that good? I don't even like when Donnie shoots threes. I think he's much better around the rim. I think he's much better in the mid-range. But he's Syracuse's number one three-point shooter. We're 13 games into the season. He's shooting 33% from deep. Not good. Who's in second place? Choppa Moore, 32.6%. So he's a little bit below Donnie Freeman. He's in second. So your two of your three freshmen, I should say, are your top two players in three-point shooting. Both sub 35%. Not good. If you're curious about J.J. Starling, because at some point they're going to get Starling back this season from his broken left hand. Should he help the three-point shooting? I don't know. Probably not as much as you think. He's shooting 29% from three in the 6 games that he has played this season, and he's a career 31% three-point shooter. He's not a great outside shooter. And Chris Bell, who we've talked about a lot on this podcast, is under 22%. It's not even playable. So at this point, the roster is the roster. And the players, because the coach is not going to be let go right now, maybe at the end of the year if we're lucky, but the players are going to have to play better. And they're going to have to shoot the ball better, and that's me being blunt. Because these three-point percentages, not good at all. You make a couple more threes against Texas, you win. Make a couple more threes against Notre Dame, you win. Making them against Georgetown a little, you win. Making them against Wake Forest, maybe you win. They're second worst in the ACC in three-point percentage. It's got to change. And really the player behind that is Chris Bell. He's going to have to get it going. That's the bottom line. All right? So as far as what is coming up on the podcast in the future, I'm not going to promise it. Okay? But I think there will be another mini podcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because there was a big update from John Rothstein this afternoon, or maybe it was this morning. It was sometime today, I should say, regarding NCAA eligibility. The NCAA is considering giving everyone, all sports, a 5th year of eligibility. So we'll talk about how that could impact Syracuse. Hint, hint, Kyle McCord. Also coming up on the podcast, Syracuse Basketball. They are playing not Wake Forest. They are playing Florida State tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern in Tallahassee. And there will be a full post-game reaction podcast. Hopefully the Orange can get their first power conference win of the season. Okay? Just at one to start. And maybe there'll be 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 more. Sound good? All right. Thank you for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today. And for your second listen, you can check out the Locked On ACC podcast. Alex Dono and Kenton Gibbs, they keep it real and bring you the truth about where your favorite ACC team stands within the conference. You can find Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this video, click that like button. If you really liked it, subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notifications so you know right away when I am dropping the next podcast. And I will see you guys all again soon.